Mark Cancian is a retired U.S. Marine colonel and senior advisor at Washington's Center for Strategic and International Studies. I asked him about the significance of the Kakhovka Dam.
My guess is that this is something that the Russians did, that they are trying to increase the barriers between them and the Ukrainians. They probably believe that the Ukrainian offensive has either begun or is about to begin, and they're doing this as a way to increase their protection.
Obviously, we don't know yet who is behind it, but why might someone want to target the dam?
Well, taking out dams as a way to increase water barriers is a classic defensive maneuver. The Germans, for example, did it many times in the Second World War, as other countries. So if the Russians were to have done this, this would follow a classic defensive pattern.
So what are the potential implications of this? Does this look like it could be a moment to signal an escalation?
Well, it clearly signals that the Russians are very worried, assuming that they were the ones who did it, and that they are willing to take severe, extreme measures to defend themselves.
And do we think that this could actually signal the start of Ukraine's counteroffensive?
Well, there's been a lot of talk in the last 24 hours or so about whether the Ukrainian counteroffensive has begun. There have been some, at least local attacks. Whether the full offensive has begun, it's unclear. But if the Russians did this, it means that they believe that the offensive could be starting and that it could include a river crossing. The Ukrainians have developed some capabilities to cross the river, and it's not impossible that they would do that.
So what, if the counteroffensive has started, might we expect to see next?
Well, in the next couple of days, we'll see whether the Ukrainian counteroffensive has, in fact, begun. It would be very large. The Ukrainians have built 8 or 9 brigades, heavy brigades, to carry out this counteroffensive. So we would see a major attack, probably with artillery, certainly with combined arms. It will be unmistakable when it does begin.
So what do you think might be the potential long-term consequences of this dam being destroyed? How might it impact stability in the region?
Well, the long-term consequences for the region are severe. This is around the city of Kherson. There's been a lot of flooding. It's probably the greatest single damaging event in the war. Maybe on the scale of what's happened to Mariupol, which happened over a series of weeks in battles, because not only will the dam have to be rebuilt, but there are all those habitations downstream that will also have to be rebuilt. I think the good news, though, is that this is a local event. It's maybe for Americans, consider it like a hurricane. The damage around the area is quite severe, but the broader implications are relatively modest, fortunately.